Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I'm in studio right now with the very lovely Franchesca Ramsey, who I actually follow on Instagram. It's cool when you meet people that you follow on
I'm a
Instagram.
real
They're real
person.
person that
Yeah.
really exists, and it's good to see you. Welcome to Sirius
Thank
XM.
you
Bless
so
you, sister.
much. Thank you for having
Thank you
me.
for coming in. Brand new book out this week, just this week. Well, that escalated quickly. That's a cool title
Thank you so
too.
much.
That's kind of how it's been for you. You didn't plan. Is it true on being an activist?
No, I mean, I was somebody that was creating content on YouTube for years before I had a viral video in 2012.
Uh-huh.
It was, can I curse? Are we allowed
Yeah,
to curse?
you're on Sirius XM.
Shit white girls say to black girls. And,
No, actually, I was just kidding. You can't curse because I'm a minister.
well,
No, see, I
sorry.
get it to you. I'm just playing. Go ahead.
Well, shit. I thought that I was just making a video about my personal experience growing up in South Florida, where I went to Catholic school and I was often in spaces where I was the only black person. Little did I know that I was making a video that was going to resonate with nearly 12 million people and put me in the spotlight where there were lots of people asking me to talk about race and identity, and I didn't necessarily know how, so I made a lot of mistakes along the way. And so while that escalated quickly is reflective of my journey, but also how these conversations often go, especially online.
Yeah. So you call yourself an accidental activist?
I would say so, because I feel like this is something a lot of people can relate to, where they didn't necessarily sign up to be the person to talk to their friends or their family members about social justice issues, but now they're in a place where they feel compelled, especially with what's going on in the world. And so I'm very fortunate that this was a skill that I found that I had to talk about things in a funny, relatable way, but absolutely on accident.
So what adjustments have you made in becoming an activist? You said you made mistakes. You've obviously learned from those.
Absolutely.
But how much about you has changed? What adjustments have you made?
I mean, I'm still the same person through and through, but I think especially because the internet gives us the ability to respond so quickly, one of the things that I definitely have been guilty of is reacting before I actually take a minute to understand what I'm reacting to and get the full story. And we see this happen all the time, where somebody said something that rightfully should be called out or critiqued, but maybe we don't have the whole story, or maybe they're being sarcastic, or maybe they're quoting somebody else, and we just leap into attack mode. And I have absolutely done that, and I've been on the receiving end as well.
Yeah, we've
And
all
so
been
now I try to like step back a little bit before I jump in, and also use my platform to uplift other people's voices and not make my voice the center of attention.
We've all done that,
Yes.
I think. And I've learned myself, even especially during 2016. Now we find a whole lot of folk we arguing with may not even be real people.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the other thing too, is that and I feel like also we don't realize sometimes we are being manipulated, especially as black folks, because we are so powerful on Twitter. Like, black Twitter is no joke. And sometimes I really feel like brands are manipulating black Twitter by saying, you know what, we're going to rile them up around this thing, and they are going to tweet the hell out of this link. They're going to drive traffic to our brand, because people will post something that is really ignorant or just downright hateful, and it gets shared because everyone's like, look at this terrible thing, I'm pissed off about this. And every time it happens, I'm thinking there's some executive right now saying, yep, like, look at all of the clicks that we're getting. Because at the end of the day, a view is a view, a click is a click, and that's how these companies pay their bills. And we can talk about this stuff in a productive way that doesn't always send them traffic.
Yeah. And that's interesting that we could be manipulated by that. I never thought about that.
Oh,
before.
It is absolutely happening. I mean, I know, especially coming from like the YouTube perspective, where views are how, people pay their bills, those advertising views. So when you see that ad play before a video, that creator is getting paid, even if you end up hating the video. And oftentimes people are sharing stuff because they dislike it. It doesn't matter. Those ad views still count for something. And I think we have to be very conscientious about who we give our time and our attention to online.
And not necessarily react so quickly.
Right.
So, Franchesca Ramsey with us, folks. Have you embraced your role as an activist?
I think so. I mean, I feel very fortunate that I'm in a position where people look up to me and have given me an opportunity to use my voice to highlight important issues and causes and people that I think deserve attention. And I do not take that lightly. And I feel I owe my audience in many ways to be very thoughtful about the way
Right.
I use my platform and the way I talk about these issues. So I feel very lucky.
How things at MTV Decoded?
Things are really good. We wrapped up season 6 a few months ago. We're gearing up for season 7 in the fall. And, I think we had over 20 million views last season. And I'm just so happy that people are enjoying MTV Decoded and are sharing the episodes and chiming in and helping start these important conversations.
So in that you've been an accidental activist and that you're embracing it now, are there things you're doing to build on your activism and your knowledge of all of these issues?
I think the thing that I'm trying to do more of is use the privilege that I have to uplift people that don't get these same opportunities. So, for example, on Decoded, whether, say we're talking about LGBTQ issues, I'm going to look for somebody that's a member of that community and bring them onto the show and say, look, as a straight girl, there's lots of stuff that I don't necessarily have to speak to on this issue. While it's something I really care about, I'm going to use my platform and give somebody else a chance. And I think we all need to look at who's at the table and say, well, we can maybe have more women around this table. We have more people of color. Why don't we have somebody, that's from the LGBTQ community that's going to help enrich our content, make us more knowledgeable and be able to reach more people and tell more authentic stories. So using my platform in that way is really important to me.
No, it is obviously very, very important. What do you ultimately see yourself doing years from now? What is Franchesca Ramsey?
It's funny because I have found that when you decide like this is the one thing I want, as evidenced by what happened to me, I was working as a graphic designer when my video went viral and I wanted to be in entertainment, but I couldn't get my foot in the door. And all of these different things led me to the path that I'm at right now. And I never could have imagined that. And so for me, I try to say, I just want to continue creating content that makes people laugh and makes them think. I don't know if that's going to be hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people, just the people on my Instagram, just my mom. I will be happy if I'm able to continue doing that in any capacity. So I'm not putting barriers on myself. I keep the door open.
Speaking of your mom, what do your mom or your parents, for that matter, what do they think about what you're up to?
My mother read the book. I gave her a copy early, and she's very funny. She's very poised, and so she sent me a message and said, congratulations. There was some language that she did not approve of because I'm not afraid to drop F-bombs. But she also said that she felt like I did a really great job of maintaining my commitment to being honest and hopefully encouraging other people to be honest. So that was really cool. And my dad is so excited. I definitely think I get a lot of my sense of humor from him. I think so. He's goofy. I try not to tell him too much that he's the reason that I have a sense of humor, because you know how dads can be. He's like, yeah, like all of this stuff is because of me. I'm like, all right, calm down a little bit, Dad. But he's very excited. My whole family is excited about it, and it's just been so cool. And I feel like my audience in many ways is an extended family, because many of them have been rocking with me for a really long time.
Yeah. Tell us a bit about your upbringing. What in your upbringing prepared you for this?
I am originally from West Palm Beach, Florida, and
it's beautiful.
It is beautiful. Everyone's grandparents live there. Every time I mention it, people are like, "My grandma lives in Boca."
Right.
South Florida is beautiful, and I feel like we often get a bad rap because every time something awful happens, like a dude eats somebody's face off, it happens in Florida. Yeah. And it's like every time I'm like, please don't let this terrible story be from Florida, but it always seems to be. I grew up in a pretty, middle-class family, but I'm an only child. And so I think, oh, really?
Yeah.
I think that leads us to entertainment. Like we like being in the spotlight.
Maybe.
Right? So I definitely think that was part of just my outgoing personality, but I felt I know that I'm very fortunate that I had parents that always encouraged me to pursue my artistic endeavors, whether it was playing piano or going to art class, or I went to computer camp. That's how I learned how to code in middle school. And I just had parents that always said, be the best you can be. They never said, well, no, you should study this, or why don't you want to be a lawyer, or you ever thought about being a doctor? They were just super encouraging, and I think that's helped me a lot.
Computer camp. Are you a nerd?
I would say I am a nerd.
Okay.
I went to school for graphic design, and I really wanted to be a web designer, but the school that I ended up going to did not have a web design program. So that's how I ended up as a graphic designer. But I remembered scanning photos when I was in middle school and putting them on my website that no one was reading. Of course, like everybody else, stood in line for the iPhone because I wanted to make sure that I had, a digital camera in my pocket. And I begged my parents, to upgrade my computer when I graduated from college. So I always have loved tech, and also just capturing my life and sharing it.
Yeah. You still doing any designing? You still doing any art?
I do a little bit. So actually with the book, I worked very closely with the design team to come up with the color scheme and the artwork. And I'm very nitpicky about that stuff, but it is something that is very important to me. Like
everything you do, everything the sister does, folks, even this cover right here,
yeah,
it pops. And if you follow her
love color.
on Instagram and everything just pops. And that is attracted to people. That draws people in. It's
very important to me, making sure that all even the colors that I'm wearing, like I'm wearing pink because it's part of my book colors. My toenails are pink and teal, just like my book. So I try to make sure that it's consistent and pleasing to the eye. Mm-hmm. I know what I like. And I think it can be a blessing and a curse because I can be really nitpicky and stress about it. But ultimately, I want people to know when they see my work that it's going to be fun and colorful and make them feel good and be welcoming, even if I am talking about important issues.
Yeah. So would you want to at some point get back into doing more graphic design?
I mean, I don't necessarily know that I want to be the person pushing the pixels around, but okay. I am okay to tell somebody else what to do.
Okay. You okay to direct?
I've been very fortunate. I now have a social media intern, Crystal, and she's been phenomenal. And I realized working with her, I really enjoyed teaching her and showing her some of the tips and tricks that have made me a faster and more productive designer. And it was nice, but difficult to delegate. I don't know about you, but I am somebody that likes to have my hands in everything. And it's hard to let go and say, like, I'm going to trust you to handle this.
Only child thing.
Is that an only child thing, you think?
What's your sign?
Sagittarius.
Oh, my God.
Oh, see, I don't know anything about signs. Are you going to tell me some?
I'm a Sag.
You are?
Yeah, when's your birthday?
November 29th.
Okay, so I'm December 21st.
Wow.
Only child Sag. Yeah, we need to talk. There's a lot. Good stuff though.
Okay, good.
But sometimes, a little challenging because folk don't always get it. But one thing I noticed though, when you talk about your extended family that's come from the work you've been doing, that's one thing about only children. We draw the folk in and we have extended families.
I'm so jealous.
I was everybody's sibling.
I'm jealous of people that have lots of siblings.
Yeah.
I begged my parents. My mom said I did that once and I'm never doing it again. Yeah. I'm not doing that.
I can't say I was jealous of Franchesca because I didn't have time to be. Everybody's family just always embraced me. And I had a lot of cousins.
Okay.
And because of the time I came along, even though my mom raised me, my grandmother was like my other mother. My two-parent household was my mother and my grandmother. Mm-hmm. So my mother's siblings were like my siblings. So for a long time, I was confused about who was the mother, But no, that says a lot. You're outgoing. You're Sag is outgoing, only child. Mm-hmm. A lot of enthusiasm and personality, like color.
Good to know.
Colorful. So that's you.
Yes, absolutely. My husband has 3 brothers, and he swears up and down that they fought like cats and dogs as kids, but they are so loving and they are just so there for each other now as adults.
Okay.
That, I kind of wish that I had that, but I feel very fortunate that I've been able to build that with some of my friends and my colleagues.
Children? You and your husband?
We don't have kids yet.
So
you know what? I have lots of things that I want to do. The birth control is on lock firmly. Thank you very much. Made that investment.
She tells it all, folks. She puts it all out there. We know about the toes and the birth control.
I have 2 dogs, and those are currently phenomenal birth control. I don't have to put braces on them. I don't have to send them to college. I do have to pick up after their shit, which is challenging and annoying. But those are my kids for now.
Okay.
And again, thankfully I have my husband so that we can split the duty on them. We argue over who takes them out in the morning and who takes them out in the evening. But not in the. Eventually, I would love to have kids, but right now, it's not my story right now.
What does your husband do?
He is a lawyer, and he just started his own practice, working with entertainers, lots of online content creators. And luckily for me, some of my really close friends have hired him to help them with some of their work.
So he's a lawyer. He's not interested in seeking to represent Donald Trump?
No. Oh, goodness. No. No. No, but my husband is super funny and smart. We host a podcast together called Last Name Basis, where we talk about pop culture and we also talk about science and animals. And we're both from Florida, so we tell weird and embarrassing Florida stories every episode.
And always when I think about Black Girl Magic and all that too, I think about you because you're a walking. This is a vivid example.
Thank you so much
of Black Girl Marriage. So I have to ask you about this. What everybody's talking about? The wedding. Did you watch the wedding?
Yes, I didn't actually watch it. I watched like everybody on Twitter talking about it.
Is that right?
I did.
Because some folk just said they were ambivalent. They didn't really want to watch it. I was a little bit, but I said I'm curious.
You know what?
And I'm glad I got them watched it live. I'm glad I did.
I didn't watch it live. But for me, what was real, I was kind of ambivalent also, but what I really liked was that it made people feel so good. And last week we had a tough week. There was a lot of sad stuff going on in the news, let alone what's going on in the White House, right? Yeah. Unfortunately, we have all of these stories about, school shootings happening and just grave miscarriages of justice happening. And so a wedding is a joyous event, and it's something that people can get excited about and feel invested in. And for that reason, I think it was a good thing. There's so many people were celebrating and feeling good.
Yeah, it was a good thing.
And I can't dismiss that.
But you had to have been proud of the representation that was there as a Black woman. I mean, I never could have.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely unexpected for me. But I don't know. I didn't necessarily have the same feeling that a lot of people did. I saw so many articles that were like, "This is a moment for Black women. Like, we can make it." And I was like, "I've been married. Like, I'm good." So I'm happy for her, and I definitely see there is a genuine love between the two of them. Like the way that Harry looks at her. There was a moment where he said to her, "You look amazing," and then he bit his lip, and I was like,
right.
oh goodness, am I allowed to be seeing this? I feel like I'm intruding. Like, y'all okay?
Yeah, he's gone.
He definitely.
He's gone. Dude is gone.
She's beautiful, and I've actually met her. She was a guest on Nightly Show when I worked there. Okay. And she's lovely. She's so nice, and she just made me at the time feel like we had been friends forever. So I'm happy for them. I don't have a personal investment in their marriage. That's not like my jam. I don't really care about like who's dating who, or when people are like, "Oh my God, Brad and Angelita are breaking up." I'm like, okay, I mean that sucks for them, but I don't really care.
I agree. I don't either. But the preacher, the choir.
Oh, he was phenomenal.
I think we all were just shocked. I mean, I was sitting there like, and then that choir came out.
I think it was
like, where am I? Yeah.
For me, I did appreciate the fact that she embraces that part of herself, because a lot of people unfairly, I feel like, were judging her because she's mixed race.
Said she wasn't black enough.
And they were saying she's not Black enough. And it's like, well, her mother is Black, and she has never denied the fact that she is mixed race. I know a lot of mixed race people identify solely as Black, but she's somebody who says, no, I'm both. And she has every right to do that, but she's not dismissing, and she's not like shitting on Black people. And unfortunately, we see people do that. So I'm not mad at her. I'm happy for her.
But you would agree to this, for some reason at this moment, I shouldn't say for some reason, because you may be able to tell us a reason. Let me not say that first. This seems to be a moment of glory for Black women, is it not?
I think a lot of people saw it as a monumentous occasion because.
But I don't mean the wedding. I'm just saying in general.
Oh, just in general.
For Black women, doesn't this seem to be y'all's moment?
Yes, sure. I will affirm that and speak that into existence. I definitely think things are shifting, especially like in entertainment and media. Right. And I think social media is a big part of that. The gatekeepers have been removed. You see somebody like an Issa Rae who has created a platform for herself. She is now getting ready to go into her 3rd season of Insecure on HBO. You see someone like Lena Waithe. You see someone like Justin Simien with Dear White People at Netflix. These are people who are telling incredible stories that include Black people of all different shades, skin, shapes, sizes, identities. I think that that's really powerful, and it's very exciting. Does that mean that we're done? No, we still have a long ways to go, but I feel very fortunate that I am part of that world, and I'm paving way for myself and hopefully others.
We didn't mention Trump. Franchesca Ramsey with us, folks, and we was discussing her new book, Well, That Escalated Quickly, Memoirs and Mistakes of an Accidental Activist. We didn't mention Trump. How much are you into politics? How much do you follow and get into it?
I feel like there's an obligation to follow politics right now. I do find it draining because it seems like it's just always bad news. And often you feel as if, what can I do, right? Like, how can I use my voice? Does my vote actually matter? There are all these people that are participating in bad behavior, illegal behavior. Will they ever face repercussions? And that can be really draining. For me, I am trying to look towards those midterm elections and make sure that my vote counts and encourage other people to be informed about who they're voting for.
Indeed. Entertainment. What about acting?
Yes. I mean, I went to school for acting initially.
Okay.
I have half of an acting degree from University of Michigan. It was expensive, and I was rolling around on the floor pretending to be a baby in one of my classes and thought, I don't know why I'm spending all of this money for this. So I went to a performing arts middle in high school, and I studied acting there. And I act on Decoded, and it's something that I would like to do more of. But again, my career has taken this awesome winding road where I've gotten all these writing opportunities. So I've been kind of following that, but acting is definitely something I'm excited to go back to.
And speaking of writing opportunities, the brand new book, folks, fresh off the presses this week, Well, That Escalated Quickly. Be sure to check it out. Memoirs and Mistakes of an Accidental Activist. You haven't made any mistakes.
Oh, I've made so many mistakes.
No, you'll be all right. You're good.
Thank you so much.
All of us, it's all a learning
Absolutely. You know what? Someone actually said to me today that it's not necessarily the mistakes, but how you recover and move forward from them. And I really believe that.
Have you put a moratorium on yourself? Because I had to do this.
Okay.
I had to stop feeding the trolls. Period.
Oh, yes.
I just cut it out.
Oh, no. I mean, it is very difficult, especially when you have a great clapback. I love a good one.
Yeah.
But you are giving those people the attention that they are craving, and you're ultimately, not giving attention to the people that actually love and support you. And that's really not fair to them. And that's the thing that I had to tell myself, that I have people that are cheering me on and would be so happy if I interacted with them online. And instead I'm interacting with people that don't like me and will never like me, but stay checking for me. So thank you. Let me invest my time in the people who actually care about me and enjoy and appreciate my work.
No, I can feel that. But my rule is now, like I said, we don't even know who some of these folk are now. And I've been caught out there, and we literally did a deep dive and saw, these people weren't even real.
Oh, the ones that are my favorite / I hate are the ones that pretend that they're black. Like they have like a stock image of a black person, but then all of their tweets are like, "We bees doing this and hippity hop." Like, no black person talks like that.
No.
And then you see people interacting with them and feeding them and just giving them attention.
Would you ever consider running for political office yourself?
No. Goodness, no. I think that my voice is more influential using comedy and again, using my platform to highlight important voices that I think deserve attention. I definitely am so glad to see so many Black women running for office at a local level right now.
Absolutely.
I don't know that I'm cut out for that. I mean, just in addition to like your regular job, that's just the act of running is an entire job in itself. Yeah. And I don't know that that's one that I want to take on. Yeah,
it is a lot. That's what Oprah said. I was trying to draft Oprah.
You were?
I was one of the people trying to draft her.
You know what?
And she said it's
wasn't.
Not her. Really?
No, I really wasn't. I think that the lesson learned, not to say that she's in any way comparable to Donald Trump, but I don't think that we need more celebrities in politics. Being a celebrity, is an honor and one that a lot of people are deserving of, and they have the talents to sustain that visibility. But that does not mean that you are qualified to chime in on every single thing. And I think, unfortunately, the adoring fans make a lot of people think like, oh yeah, I could handle this. And I don't think that that's the case.
Well, I would agree generally, although I was just being selfish. Oprah's got the name and name recognition, and we could have won.
I also feel, right, and I think that we have been so burned by Donald Trump that we needed somebody to, and again, it's kind of like the wedding situation, right? Where like everything is going bad and then you see one glimmer of hope and you just like latch onto it. I feel like that's what people did with Oprah. We were all so bogged down, and she gave like that great speech. I think it was at the Golden Globes, when the Oprah should run for president buzz started. It was such a great speech, and it was as if we had been so deprived of anybody that had any sort of intelligence speaking in front of a microphone. Everyone was just like, oh my God, yes, this is what we need. And it's like,
right?
No, Oprah's voice is very important, and she's great at what she does. I don't think politics are the right route for her.
Yeah. Well, I have a great deal of admiration for you.
Thank you so much.
I think my stock goes up interviewing you. Plus, we both only children, Sages, and we have dreadlocks.
And
I think my stock.
Hello.
So hopefully my stock, y'all think of me differently now. But I was saying on the air this morning, we can have more than one fairy tale. We had Megan on Saturday. Stacey Abrams wins in Georgia. That's it. We can have all types of fairy tales.
There is room for all of us to win. I genuinely believe that.
And that's what I'm saying. You're a fairy tale too. You're winning.
Thank you.
You're doing great things. Keep it up. You all follow this sister on Twitter.
On Twitter at Chesca Lee, CHESCALEIGH.
And the same on Instagram.
All across social media, I am Chesca Lee.
Yeah, I have to figure that out. I have to merge because I've got a couple different things going on. Oh,
yes. No. Branding is important. You want to be the same name everywhere, even if it's a weirdly spelled one like mine.
Working on it. Good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
I know this won't be the last time we see each other.
I hope not.
And we look forward to many, many great things
from
Franchesca Ramsey. Folks, don't forget the book, Well, That Escalated Quickly, Memoirs and Mistakes of an Accidental Activist. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Okay.